everyone. Welcome to Connections for Life. I'm Ted P.
I'm Chad Kuba.
I'm just Ted. Are you in a warehouse?
I am. I'm at my new
It's part-time job at Amazon.
Yeah, I'm at my new office. I took another position, and I got like 3 full-time jobs right now. They're all remote, but I have to use.
Is one of them making small hockey helmets for people?
Yes, that's
what is up with that helmet?
That
I don't know, Chad. It seems like it would be better than
it looks good from the side.
No, it doesn't.
It looks like it fits.
The whole reason of the intro is it's episode 99, the great one.
The great one.
And I know Teddy doesn't watch much hockey, but if you've seen anything in the last few days where during the broadcast against
put the helmet back on, it was an improvement.
It was Colorado and Edmonton. They shaved Paul Bissonnette's head into essentially making him look like he just had the top bald and had the sides left. And he sat next to Wayne Gretzky during the entire broadcast like that. And I don't know how Wayne Gretzky just didn't look at him. I mean, he's the greatest hockey player of all time. He's sitting next to Biz, who like made a life for himself playing in the ECHL.
Garbage.
It's incredible.
But this is our 99th episode, and Wayne Gretzky was number 99. So
yes,
I think it's funny that Jim and James are on episode like 165. We've clearly trailed off. Well, we have work to do. Clearly, somebody worked.
Well, here's the thing. We, no offense to Jim and James, but probably 60 some of their episodes are from trade shows where they record somebody for 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm not. You know
what I mean? Like,
I'm not coming down on anybody.
Oh,
I think we travel a lot more, and I think they spend more time.
I think they bank a lot more. Is what I'm trying to say. They bank a lot more interviews from other events.
And we're lazy. Is that what you said? Well, I can tell you guys right now.
I'd like to know how many episodes I had this sweatshirt on. I bet you it's like 40.
I'm going to ask
you. I'm at 99 nights on the year.
You should.
99 what?
99 nights this year in Hilton so far. So.
I don't know how I have.
That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy, right?
I haven't stayed in just Hilton, so.
I know. Well, I got a couple that weren't Hilton as well, but.
I only have 31 nights in Hilton this year.
99.
No, they've done a fantastic job banking episodes. Sorry,
no, they do a good job. I was just kidding around. Anyways, moving on. Let's go.
I love those guys.
It's over with.
All right, so here we are.
I'm going on their show. It's gonna be Coffee with Jim and James and Joe.
Jim, James, and Joe's coffee hour. So here we are, guys. 99th episode, going into our segment on what?
It's a great question.
Well, what do you mean?
Gas fact of gas.
Oh, we're not going to talk about what we did over the weekend, all that good stuff.
I mean, we can definitely.
I'm so fine.
I want to because mine is different.
Mine's different too, but I don't want to talk.
Yeah, well.
So Callie, wait a minute. Callie had her first soccer game this past Friday. And by the way, I was in New Jersey last week. We didn't talk about this. Macy's team won the tournament, so the EDP tournament in New Jersey. That was pretty cool. But anyways, Callie had her first like soccer game for CNY this past week, and it was her first game, so she was a little nervous. And she gets out there, and she's. I thought Macy was aggressive. Callie's like next level aggressive. This kid pushed her, and she double-handed pushed him directly.
I can see her barking at somebody.
So Callie had a game Friday, Macy had a game Saturday, and in both games the goalies were run into 3 times total. All 3 times were my children that ran into the goalies. So good. Both teams won. It was good. It was good to get off the snide. They have soccer tournaments. Both of them have soccer tournaments in Rochester Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this week.
Same place, right? Probably.
No.
Oh, at least they're both in Rochester. How many times has that happened?
Yeah, they're about 10 minutes apart. Well, it's the same league. It's for CNY. They both play for CNY. One is 2014, one is 2010. So, anyways, that's my weekend.
It's crazy to think about because Logan's in 2004. Like that's
so Nick's in 06.
Yeah.
Christina's in 08.
Wait till they have kids. It'll be like, oh, my kids have 29.
Yeah, Zoe's in 06.
So here's a different one for this past weekend. I had no basketball. There was basketball going on, but I didn't have to go because it was none of my team's directly.
You didn't just go?
No, because I got to go to Baltimore, Maryland, and watch my daughter play lacrosse this weekend at an Aloha event down there. And She did pretty well. I got to
the
be a dad.
NCAA tournament the week prior
It
down in
was,
Maryland.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was, yeah, finished.
Lacrosse?
Yeah,
Awesome.
good job. Joe.
It was pretty cool though. I got to be a dad without like, and I know nothing.
That's fun, and especially lacrosse, because half the time it's fun for me. I don't really ever know what's happening. So even still, like once you go to high school rules, they change even more and more stuff happens. But like half the time I have no idea what's happening.
Macy
It's
was
fun.
on.
That's what actually makes it fun to me.
Macy saw lacrosse on TV the other day and she goes, "What is this, field hockey?" No.
Christina had a good weekend though, and I got to watch her kick some butt. And
That's awesome.
You talk about aggression. You know, I've said this several times, and you guys have met her. Christina's a serial killer. Don't get on her bad side. And,
I actually go down there, Teddy, not this weekend coming up, the weekend after that, to Boyd's, Maryland, just outside DC.
Okay.
For IWLCA or something like that. Girls.
I think Christina might be at that. Honestly, I won't be able to attend because I have a basketball tournament. Yeah. So we're hosting one though this weekend, guys.
That's cool.
I'm at NGA all week, and then I get back, and Saturday morning at 8 a.m.
That's pretty.
Do you guys notice that? Like, I think we may have talked about this in the past, but like, sports don't end anymore. Like they used to go like for seasons, and then you'd play another sport, and then another season would come, and they don't end. They play soccer, softball, lacrosse, basketball all year round.
Yeah.
And I feel like the parents should get like some special award for like dealing with this. Like
in hockey, one of
Father's Day isn't enough.
Listen, one of the biggest things in development as far as USA hockey coaches in hockey is to play completely different sports. Like to take those, especially until you're like 16 or 17, to play different sports throughout the year. Like it's a huge thing.
Oh, so Macy just got chosen to be on the track team. So now
How many more things can she be on, Joe?
She has summer soccer, travel softball, summer softball. She's now running 4x100. She's doing she's throwing the discus.
I threw the discus.
Oh, that came up. She also has saxophone and chorus.
It'd be so much better if it's the trombone.
No, she's
look at Teddy texting.
No, right, let's move on.
He was so locked in too.
I got a nasty text, and that's what
it's okay. I've been doing stuff all morning.
Yeah.
Where I'm a disaster this week. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm an
You're always a disaster.
Yeah, but no, like
you ramp it up level. 3
like
layers.
Next level. I need like another couple weeks to drop back, punt, and regroup.
You're like a category 5 this week. So what are we doing?
Are we going the gas fact? Is that what we're going to?
Let's go to the gas fact.
I'm trying to find them. I don't know. I'm trying to find my
gas fact.
Is this? Are we sponsored by the Guild again?
No.
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna do that.
Joe forgot completely.
Guild fact,
okay.
But he's prepared. Because
didn't take much.
Prepared. Pick a number or pick a card. Any card.
Jack of clubs.
I hope it's some weird one that's really long. Just read.
Watch, I won't be able to find the Jack of clubs. There it is. Oh, it's really long. It's really long. Yes. Natural gas is so Jack of clubs, just so you can see.
Oh wow, that is long.
Natural gas is transforming. I'm trying to read the fact.
Sorry.
Natural gas is transforming the energy landscape at home and around the world. Because the U.S. is now producing record amounts of natural gas within its own borders, the national economy is growing, and America is becoming a stronger global leader. This was clearly a few years ago. Anyways, so that's the Guild fact of the week.
Who's that sponsored by, Joe? Give it a little bit more tire pump there.
Wait, from here?
Yeah.
This is sponsored by the Guild of Ancient Supplers? That's
You're the member.
Yeah, so it's Chad.
Yeah, but I count you more.
What did you say?
Because I've been to a meeting.
Yeah, I count you more because Chad.
Yeah, I'm not officially. I haven't been to a meeting yet. And for some reason we both went into the nomination pool at the same time, and Joe came out a month earlier.
Well, I'm better.
And I think his pen was cheaper. I just feel that way.
All right. So my fact of the week is so you guys know what natural gas reserves are.
Yes.
What?
No, I have no idea.
Or they have pockets of reserved gas and set aside.
Actually, I didn't hear you because I was on my gas fact tune.
So natural gas reserves refer to large deposits of natural gas, which based on geological surveys and engineering studies are thought to exist to a very high degree of certainty. In addition to the knowledge of their existence, these reserves are also accessible and economically viable to extract. Natural gas reserves are spread worldwide. However, some countries have more natural gas than others. It is estimated that the total world reserves amount to around 6 quadrillion cubic feet.
Oh, that's all.
Rough estimates suggest that the largest reserve is equal to 6,000 exajoules of energy. I don't know what an exajoule is, but it sounds massive. So the question is, what country has the largest natural gas reserves? You want choices, or you guys want to pick them out of the air?
I think it's us.
I want choices.
Iran, United States, Saudi Arabia, or Russia?
It's us.
I have to agree with the hooded wonder, Chad.
Bum, 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 bum. It's wrong.
Russia.
Number one is Russia with 38 trillion cubic meters. Number 2 is Iran with 32 trillion cubic meters. Number 3 is Qatar or Qatar,
Wow.
how you want to pronounce it.
And number 5 is
with
Canada, and number 6 is
24.7
Mexico.
trillion cubic meters. Number 4, I've never even heard of this place. Turkmenistan, which is 19.5 trillion cubic meters.
I'm pretty sure I've been there, actually.
And the last one is
of anybody, you probably have.
and the last one is the United States, number 5 at 12.9 trillion. So put that in perspective. The United States has 12.9 trillion cubic meters. Russia has 38 trillion cubic meters.
So even if let's go to let's skip over Russia and go to Iran, who's a much smaller country and much smaller landmass than us and Russia. Are they exporting that or doing anything with it? Because the only thing usually comes oil production, comes natural gas at some point.
So
that's
Iran,
a typical normal thing.
So Iran accounts for about 16% of the world's share of natural gas resources. Okay. Iran shares ownership of the world's largest gas field. That's the South Pars North Dome with neighboring Qatar or Qatar, depending on how you want to pronounce it. The field is located offshore in the Persian Gulf. In 2019, the country produced 244 billion cubic meters of natural gas, or around 6% of the global total. So they represent 16% of the reserves, and they do about 6% of the global total as of 2019.
That's kind of wild if you think about it.
Russia has
there must be so much more money in oil. Is my assumption.
16% of the global total. Well, everything runs on oil, man. All plastics are manufactured from oil. Oil is where it's at.
Fair.
That's pretty. Those are good, Joe.
So, anyways, that's your gas fact of the week.
That was the first time I think you said.
That's why I'm amazed that he did it.
No, it's the 99th episode. You got to bring it. You got to bring it. You got to bring it on the 99th.
99th, got to be the great one.
All right. Speaking of the great one, how about you tell us who was coming on the show today, Chad?
Didn't we have something else in between there? I don't feel very prepared. No, I know Cindy for quite a long time.
Can you say her name?
I did. I
know Cindy is not the intro.
What's Cindy's last
name?
name?
You're going to do it.
I don't know her last name.
It's Patton. Cindy Patton.
What's Cindy Patton?
And where is she from?
She's from Steel for Life, but she's been in the corrosion coating industry for what looks to be probably her entire career. Like what's funny is when we talked to her, I talked a little bit about some coatings that I put on when I worked at Liberty Coating that I don't think they're really still used, but they were not much fun to put on. And that's who she started her career with, which was actually kind of a little funny. So we'll probably talk about that.
So
without further ado, welcome to the show, Cindy Patton. Hello, Cindy, and welcome to Connections for Life. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic. You're really chipper too.
I know. You're really.
You
might be the most excited person to ever be on this show.
We might invite you to be on every week just to be super excited.
Yeah. Actually, if you could just take my spot, that'd be great.
Yeah, Joe's transferring over to coffee with Jim James. So
Joe,
we need to replace him, and all of our interviewees are now becoming candidates to replace Joe.
This is an interview, actually, for the show. Yeah,
I think you like the job.
Cindy,
okay, I'm going to conduct them at happy hour going forward. Just so
beautiful. I don't care what you do. I won't be on. Cindy, thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Why don't we get you started with kind of like how you got your start in the industry and talk a little bit about your career.
Sure. So I started in 1990. I was called the kid back in those days. I was 18 years old, and I just answered an ad in the Houston Chronicle for an admin position. So I went to work for a company called Tech Wrap Tape Coatings, which again, is my intro to corrosion and coatings. I knew nothing about it, so kind of got thrown in there. So within Tech Wrap Tape Coatings, we're a privately owned company. I'm kind of like a mom and pop shop here in Houston is where I'm based. So I was there for about 16 years, and our main competition for cold applied tape coatings was the Polykin brand, which is still widely being used today, and it's been around since the 50s.
Is Tech Wrap still in business, Cindy?
No.
So who was the guy who ran that? What was his name?
The owner, so my boss at the time when I was there, his name was John Demore.
John Demore. I told you,
him.
I just remember putting on the product at Liberty Coating.
Yeah. So John Demore was the boss, and his son came in when he was 18 as well. So I knew him when he was just a 10-year-old pup. So his son is JD. He actually works for the Asian company now.
That's interesting. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wondered that.
That's okay. Ask all these questions. Guys, I got so much useless information up in here just waiting to come out.
We're trying to consolidate that into 40 minutes or less.
Cindy's Corner. We're going to have Cindy's Corner.
We can't even coordinate
different ways, Chad.
We can't even coordinate getting this done every week. You think we're going to be able to add a new segment? Come on.
Very fair.
Valid point, Joe.
Anyways, go ahead. Continue.
Anyway, okay. So I was there for 16 years. And I evolved from, of course, I started out as admin, secretary, receptionist. You know, back then they called them Girl Fridays, where on Friday you had to clean the office and do stuff. Back then, I don't know if that's PC today.
I don't think that will work. Yeah.
We're gonna have to bleep that.
Probably get punched. You'd probably punch somebody in the eye.
I think so. Have to bleep that right out.
I don't even think you can say secretary anymore. So that's what it was called back then. So, I mean, guys, we didn't even have like emails and internet back then. Like I had a daisy wheel printer. Yeah. I'm telling you, I'm old as shit. So I was there for 16 years, and then Berry Global came in and decided, and basically this is how it was told to me: you're a thorn in our side, and bigger companies buy thorns. So that's what's happening to you. So they bought Tech Wrap and basically took the equipment. The equipment is still being used, the extrusion equipment, in our facility in Tijuana, where we manufacture our heat shrink sleeves and our Anoflex linear anode. But so they bought Tech Wrap, decided we just want to go to market with one cold applied tape coating, which is the Polykin brand. So I came into the fold in, gosh, I think whatever year that was, early 2000s. So I came in with Berry Global, and from there, Berry Global had a division that was called the Corrosion Protection Group. And in that division at the time was Polykin tape coatings, Powercrete epoxies, Covalent heat shrink sleeves, which is the former Raychem technology, but it rebranded to Covalent. So if you hear Covalent,
still Raychem to me.
Still Raychem.
Teddy, if you could pay attention, it'll be a test after.
I'm listening, but I'm lost. I'm going, this is.
I actually feel like he was paying attention and just couldn't figure out what she's Talking about.
Ted,
if it makes you feel any better, I know you understand this much. I understand this much. So just
unfortunately, I understood all of it.
I'm sitting here going, my gosh,
this is the most engaged Chad's been in an interview ever. He's like, I know what we're talking about.
Chad knows
get
all
on the
about
bus.
this.
I'm taking you to school. It's okay. You're gonna know something by the end of this 40 minutes. So anyway, so I came on board with them, and of course we had the Anoflex Impress current linear anode. So from there, we kind of stayed the same until 2012. When Berry acquired the Stopak viscoelastics technology. When we acquired them, they were in the market known as Seal for Life Industries. So that's actually where Seal for Life name comes from. When we bought Stopak, they rebranded us from Corrosion Protection Group to Seal for Life Industries because they really liked the sound of it. So that's where that comes from. And a lot of people don't know that. So I'm really excited.
That's a very good tidbit of information.
The connection to life.
Yes. So they really liked it, and they're like, we're changing this. It's going to be Seal for Life Industries. So going forward, we rebranded. We became Seal for Life Industries within the Berry Global. So we kind of stayed the same until 2018. Arsenal Capital acquired the Seal for Life Industries from Berry Global. They bought the whole group out of Berry because Berry is kind of known for more plastics. They were Berry plastics. They rebranded the Berry Global. So they actually manufactured duct tapes. They make those little shampoo, conditioner, containers, yogurts, all these really cool, fascinating things. Like,
You don't know if shampoo bottles are cool, but all right.
What? Have you seen them being made? It's super.
I have.
I know Joe
Have you?
has. That's Joe's background.
I worked
Joe
in the
just walked into his state.
I worked in the plastics industry for 12 years before I came over to this business. So
Yeah.
I've been in blow molding, extrusion. Yeah, I know what you're talking about when you stick.
If you have
when start talking
anything
about
that
stuff.
relates
It's
to
cool.
marines or electrical things, Teddy will relate.
Yeah.
If you could wrap one of those in, we'd all feel
Look at
good.
Ted.
Or,
I love
or
Ted
rifles,
altogether.
rifles and tanks.
Manufacturing in some semblance, like on the welding side of stuff. I got some experience there.
Okay, I can talk about coatings on welds if you want.
So I think it's pretty crazy that you've been basically with the same company, right? Since the beginning, it's just changed hands.
You left at one point.
Yes. So
Oh,
okay,
right.
getting
Let's get
to that
there.
point. Chad knows a little more history here. I'm so proud of you, Chad.
We all know.
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know at all.
It's just like, just keep talking, lady. So, we became part of Arsenal in 2018, and 2019 is so right before Arsenal bought Silver Life, what Chad is referring to. I went to work for Liberty Coating Company for 18 months. And I wanted to get my feel of like the applicator side of the business. And Don Barter, who owns Liberty, I've known him since the 90s, Tech Wrap. We used to, we would extrude rubber for their Protect system and ship it up to them in Mooresville, Pennsylvania. So I worked for him for 18 months and got a feel of like the Northeast region. Because again, I'm based in Houston. So most of the work I do is like Midwest, the South, and more to the West, not a lot to the East. So working for Liberty, I traveled a lot up into the Northeast, which by the way, guys, no one told me when I got in the car the first time up there, there's this brush thing. And I was like, what is this for? And they said, you get the snow off your car. What's that?
And that's when she went back.
And that's why she only worked there for 18 months.
And that was month 18 when she discovered.
Guys, I was dying. Like the first time I landed, I was like, I texted like Nora. I was like, Nora, what's that white stuff outside? Do I get out? Like seriously, this is
That's
Texas.
fantastic.
We don't do that. We don't do that. We have black ice and they shut down the town. It's over. So I went to work there for 18 months and absolutely loved it. I adored it. I got to meet, new customers, kind of how that side of the business runs. Cause I've always been on the manufacturing side. It's totally different how you go to market, how you have to promote it. Like an applicator side, the bids come to you and then you see the bid. You don't really have to do a lot of the spec work. So
not anymore, not once, because everything's already spec'd in, unless you're trying to come up with something new. That's kind of your job. I mean,
as a manufacturer, that is our job to get in. We have to do that work if we want it in there. And I totally agree with that. So I was there for 18 months, came back to work. Silver Life, right before I came back, Silver Life was acquired by Arsenal Capital Group. So when they were acquired, that's whenever it just blew up. They bought Life Class Polyurethanes, which is mainly in the water wastewater market for OD, for liners, NSF 61.
Is that mostly factory applied, or is that mostly field applied?
It's mostly factory applied for the polyurethane.
Polyurethane really tough to do.
Yeah, so it's mostly there because the water side is large diameter. It goes up to like 144 inches.
I think the biggest I ever coated for Don was 108-inch pipe. It was pretty wild. It was a project in New York City, for a sewer project in New York City.
What did you coat it with? Remember, was that like
I believe it was YG3.
The tape?
I remember correctly. Yeah, Polycom YG3. I hate to remember the numbers, like 956, and I don't want to.
You guys are literally speaking French.
I'm barely hanging on.
Are you taking notes?
Teddy, I'm barely hanging
It's
on.
getting recorded, Cindy. I'm smarter than that. I don't got to rush to write any of this.
I'm sorry, after that.
I can go back and hit pause and go, what is
so real
You won't though.
I'll give you the nickel tour. So essentially what she asked was what type of coating we put on, which was a 2 or 3 layer tape system, which is usually used in large diameter waterworks. And that's kind of how Tech Wrap got into the business way back when. And that's what we put it on. We were doing trials for Liberty Coating a long time ago. So essentially we put on the incumbent Polycom YG3, which is still one of the most popular, I assume, coatings put on the world.
Y23 and Y2K.
It's just what does that, do you actually know what that stands for, Cindy?
So it's a 3-layer system. Is basically what it stands for, because it follows like the American Waterworks Association standards. So the standard says anything 54 inches and above has to have 80 mils. So an 80 mil tape coating system is going to consist of a primer, which is your base coat that is also used as like a storage coating. Like if you want to coat your pipe and not have it flash rust, you're going to put this primer on it. You can sit it out, which Don uses as well, like on the ends.
Yep.
Like he'll coat up to the ends, and he'll put primer
Absolutely.
on. A lot of companies do that to keep it from flash rusting, but it's a primer first, and your second layer is your inner layer that consists, it's a polyethylene backing and a butyl rubber adhesive, but it is a tape coating, and it's usually like 20 mils. So you'll maybe have like 12 mils of
It does not come off once it goes on too.
So, and then you put a middle layer and an outer layer. So just kind of break
Those
it
will
down.
come off a little bit easier. The first one,
No.
coated the
That's
wrong
your-
guy, coated the wrong wall thickness pipe one time with it. Had to melt it off. It's great. Literally
Melt
lit it on
scrape.
fire.
Yeah, and you usually should blast that before you recoat that. But that's a different story.
I just want to
That
say,
too.
I can't believe
Digressing.
Chad
So
was
What?
actually like responsible for some of this stuff.
I was actually really good at it.
It was
I
like
know,
30
that's
years ago.
Scarier. I
was
trust
a while ago.
100%.
You can't even make a sandwich now.
I know. I've seen him in action. Like
I mean, I can put the bread and the meat together and stuff, but all the
Yeah, you
any
can get the
toppings and
ingredients
condiments-
but you got to put it in order.
Yeah,
Yeah. Put it in order.
listen, and then getting the stuff back in the fridge afterwards, totally not going to happen.
Teddy, you have
So-
to realize I spent 10 years or 8 years just applying coatings of my life, as weird as that is.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but it baffles me when I hear this and you know what you're talking about, and I'm like, I know him.
See,
Yeah.
the thing is, we can't really confirm or deny he knows what he's talking about just because we don't know any better.
That's exactly what else it is.
Also true. I could just be rolling with Cindy.
They could just be
making
making
random
stuff up right now, Teddy, and we couldn't tell them they
We
were.
can't argue against it.
That's
No,
actually
he
fine.
had to do a coating. I think it was the AGA, the coatings.
Yeah, Joe was there that time too.
So he had to give a
It was,
presentation.
yeah, I did to the whole
Well, that's-
AG corrosion
this is-
committee, and
this
then
is
luckily
really-
enough, a year later, they,
Oh,
they
I remember
flushed the whole corrosion committee on. I think it might have been
Ah.
something to do with me. My
Chad,
presentation.
I'm still mad about that because
It's-
that's the first time
it's gone.
and they were like, we need someone to, it's volunteer work sometimes sucks, but we need volunteers. So they said, we need someone to volunteer to rewrite this section of coding. When I saw it, I was like, what in the hell? This is so old. Like the pictures and like, oh my God, don't show that picture. It's like coatings, the lamination, bad pictures. I was like, what? And so obviously like, okay, I'll do this. I rewrote those sections. Bring it to the next meeting. Oh, we're dissolving this.
Do you two sense a pattern? Like,
Yeah.
no?
Yeah,
And we know
You got
each other.
involved, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden,
just
just
saying.
saying.
Just saying.
Anyways,
I mean-
back on task. You work for Steel for Life now.
Oh, yes. Okay. So I go back and then we bought the Life Has Polyurethanes, which the reason we have polyurethanes because the water market, as we know, every market segment is going to evolve to sort of what's next, like what's the next technology. It's going to evolve. So polyurethanes had been in the market already for like 15 years or something. So they were taking more of that market share, which is obviously why as a coatings infrastructure company, you need that coating
Sure.
technology
Mhm.
under your portfolio. So they got Lifelast Polyurethanes. We also got oxy-free surface sealant, which is for your assets. So it's something sort of like a encapsulation of valves and fittings, and you can cut through it, peel it away. You can do NDT
Oh, it's
testing.
like thick. It's almost like thick rubber, right?
Yes, yes.
Thick,
So
like plastic, but soft.
Yeah.
Sort of.
yes.
Is the majority of your work done on the water side, or?
So myself, I was on the side that came from, because we have different, obviously, divisions. Since they bought all these companies, when they buy a company, it takes like 6 months for them to sort of restructure and decide where they want to move people.
Yeah,
It happens-
acquire how they're gonna do it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And, obviously with me being here for so long, I've sort of been in every little segment. And so we actually got Canusa CPS in December of 2020, I think it was.
Which is just crazy.
And I knew it was always going to happen. I was so excited because
Yeah,
I
like-
know those guys.
Yeah. Are you just gonna buy everybody? So there's just
We're not done, Chad.
one booth at AMP. At the AMP show, there's just one coating booth. It'll be you guys. That's
Did
it.
you
Make
go to
life a lot
AMP?
easier.
Did you go to AMP in San Antonio?
I
Did
did.
anybody go?
I did.
Yeah, I did.
Did you see our booth?
No, I lied. I did see it. I saw it.
It was
Because I
insane.
saw Tate. I saw my buddy. Shout out to Tate Tatum too.
Tater Tot.
Yeah,
I love
one of my
Tater Tot.
favorites. I've known him for a long
I
time.
just hung out with him this weekend at the fishing tournament.
Hey, so I have a question for you. Now
Yes.
that we've been brought up to speed, do you have like a favorite project you've ever worked on? After all these years you've been doing it, is there one that you're like that was the best one or the coolest one or any of that stuff?
I don't know like which one I can pinpoint as my favorite. I love doing field work though. So some of our coatings, we have to go to the job site and we have to train and certify, especially like heat shrink sleeves, hand applied epoxies for girth welds and things like that. You have to train and certify the applicator because obviously it's not applied right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's going to happen.
So
I love field work. So because when you get to go to the field, you get to actually see what's happening. How can I make this product technology better, not only for the owner of this pipeline going forward, but also for this contractor who has to put it on. You have to find a way to make it easy enough to put on to where hopefully there are no mistakes, there are no missteps. So that's the goal, is to obviously put in a technology that works, sealed for life, and also this contractor is going to call for it again.
It's pretty crazy.
Make those decisions.
It's pretty crazy.
Wait, did you just name drop Seals for Life?
Did you like that?
Yeah, I saw you slid that right in there. Yeah.
It is pretty crazy though. And like the way the world has gone, we have some amazing coatings in this world, like shrink sleeves. I mean, they're in worldwide. I'm pretty sure they're still the #1 girth weld coating in the world. But here we have huge problems applying them. And that's why they get a bad name. It's because people don't apply them correctly here. And that's probably the biggest thing, like you're talking about, essentially.
Well, in the water market, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of a weld after backfill installation, because it's large diameter. So you have your bell and your spigot, they sort of tack weld it together. And because it takes so long for the welder in girth welds for oil and gas, they weld on the exterior once they butt weld it together and they weld it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for the water, they bell and spigot it, and it's a large diameter. It's going to take a long time for a welder, and the contractor wants to keep laying pipe. So they'll tack weld it together. They'll put filler in the step down, because usually 1/4 inch or higher requires a filler for the step down. And they'll put that there, and then they'll put a shrink sleeve on top of it. The shrink sleeve is the only technology now that can sustain that internal heat from the weld. So they'll put a shrink sleeve on within 10 minutes because you can backfill. You don't have to wait for it to cure. It's a shrink sleeve. Put it on. They backfill it, they keep laying pipe, they keep going. Later, the welder comes inside and the welds inside. So we have to go to prove out.
Look at Kid's face.
I'm watching this story walk out here. I'm going, all right, hold on, they're backfilling. Do I have the right concept of backfill? That means it's going to be buried. That means the guy's going to have to weld it from inside pipe. Is that going to really happen? Because
but wait, there's not a guy that does it as a laser, right?
No, he comes inside. It's a welder on the inside. I've been inside.
I just figured they had a machine that went in and just did it. Oh.
Because it's so big. Think about how big it is. I mean,
yeah, because he welds it right at that interface where the bell is picketed.
No, I get it. I just didn't know there was some like little dude down there.
Now, my question is, Cindy, when you do that project, how do you pick which shrink sleeve to sell, Covalent or Canusa?
The customer tells us. Now that we have both, the customer.
He doesn't care.
Well, so that leads me to the next question. Besides world domination and monopolizing the entire coating industry, where do you see the future of this place going? Besides your guys' pockets.
I mean, you already said it. World domination. Like, guys, we have 15 brands under our portfolio right now, and we're not done. So,
where is all this manufactured?
So we have about 8 different manufacturing facilities. We have Pflugerville, which is where Pflugerville, Texas, right outside of Austin, which is where Life is manufactured. Tijuana, Mexico, we manufacture the shrink sleeves, Anoflex. Amsterdam is where we manufacture the viscoelastics, which is by far my favorite.
Hawaii,
Amsterdam,
Bahamas.
Amsterdam,
they put a plant everywhere they want to be.
Tahiti.
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere. And kind of going back to Chad's question on favorites, we do have a product that can be applied underwater, subsea, which is our Stopack subsea product, and it can be applied underwater.
So can wax tape, Cindy. That's not that impressive.
Have you done
wax tape? Why don't you have a wax tape yet?
We do not, because we have a viscoelastic, so they're sort of used in the same markets.
Terrible.
So no, she's correct.
I know she is. I just wanted to argue with her.
She's right.
Have you applied to underwater application? Have you personally applied it?
Yes, I have put on the I've gone underwater and applied it underwater. By far the coolest application I've ever done.
Do you know how far you guys have heard my story about how far I would go, right?
Yeah, Chad would have
Chad
not
would
got on the
if
boat.
Chad couldn't put his face in with the goggles and do it right here, there's no way I would have.
No, I wouldn't even be able to put my
scared
face in with
underwater?
the goggles.
No,
He doesn't like it.
he's afraid of everything.
Mhm.
Everything.
Mhm.
Okay.
In his defense, I don't like being underwater either. I like to be on top of it. I like
I
to
don't mind
fish in it,
swimming
but I
under
don't
it
like
as
being
long as I'm going
under
right
it.
back up.
There's no reason for me to be
so
underwater.
fascinated with things like that. Like what? Like you want to do what? Like you
But
got
here's
to
the
engineer a
thing, there's-
solution.
There's two types of people in this world. There's adventurous people and there's not. You have purple hair and you clearly own it and you do things underwater. Chad, pull your hat off. No, regular hair.
No,
He doesn't
know
like
about
being underwater.
regular. I don't know about regular, but
Well, he's curly and weird.
Chad's
like
hair.
Like a poodle.
So that's your favorite application, your favorite moment, job.
So
project,
far, well, I mean,
So far.
because we do so many installations, and I mean, I've put on shrink sleeves, epoxies, tape coatings, and tape coatings is my background. So it's sort of it's my base. So
Yeah.
I'm always going to have like a heart for tape coatings because that's where I grew up basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just a different application. Obviously, I mean, it's subsea. It's out on a boat, putting water, standing on a boat, putting coating on. I mean, it's amazing.
Teddy,
Our industry is amazing.
Yeah.
Teddy, did you ask the future? You asked.
I
the
did,
future.
I asked
I've
her.
never
Never
seen
really got
anybody
back.
that loves their job as much as she
And
does.
she
Yeah,
literally
she's
said
really
world
excited.
domination.
She loves it.
She said it.
I do.
That's the future. We're going to take everybody out.
I want to know, Cindy, if there's anything on the coating market right now that's kind of cutting edge that you guys have coming out.
Right.
I mean, it seems kind of it's one of those things where like you guys do a great job buying other companies. I don't know if you came up with anything. on your own yet.
Just anything new.
Can I
Yeah.
ask you something?
Look, is there anything new and like just different and amazing that we don't really know about yet?
Well, so I mean, if I tell you everything, I gotta kill you, and I don't want to do that. But
Fine.
I
we
wouldn't
do
mind
have
it.
different R&D things in the market, and as you know, most things are moving towards renewables. So we are coming out with new technologies because like you have your wind farms out there. Well, how are you going to patch those things? Like
Makes sense.
cleaning, like shimmying up this tower to clean it is not feasible. So we do have coatings, and you might see some coming out here and there on
The long range coating gun, like a long range coating
A
rifle.
bazooka, a coating bazooka.
Such a great idea. It just hits it flat.
I mean, they have like drones, like cleaning size
Really?
of tanks and stuff. Have you seen those things?
No,
like
that's
robotic
incredible.
things and
Oh, I have seen that. The ones that like crawl up the wall. They literally like,
Yes.
crawl up the wall and blast
Yeah,
it
I don't-
inside
I
the
don't-
wall.
In my prior life, I literally, in the
Okay.
manufacturing industry that we did, we literally sold to a company that had a climbing robot that did that. And they're based out of Ithaca, New York.
I don't want to. I'm sorry, guys. I don't want to live in the generation where we have robots.
No,
and
I'm
stuff like
having
that.
it.
I don't want to live in that.
Look at
I
them.
want to read my newspaper.
No, I don't want to read my newspaper, but I don't want a drone delivering stuff to my house. I was at a place the other day, a pizza joint, and they didn't even have waiters. They just had robots.
We were at Chili's and they had a robot the other day.
They have robots.
What do you mean? Like a robot that came up to you?
Yeah, it takes your
That's-
order, brings your food.
Where were you guys?
I don't want to talk about it. Freak me out.
I was in Albany and it was at Chili's and the robot came up and
I
delivered
was at
our
a Chili's in Ohio last week, and no, they didn't have robots. They just had
It's because you're in Ohio.
17-year-old kid trying to take my order.
Yeah, dude, it's bizarre. I mean, the technology is great and all, and I think it's cool to some of the stuff that's being developed, but it just wigs me out. I don't want a pizza delivered by a robot. Like I want somebody to hand it to me. So I don't know about the drones and all that stuff.
So back to you, Cindy.
Yes,
I don't like the drones. What do you want from me?
it doesn't like the drones. But no, we have like different technologies, like it's gearing more towards different markets that are becoming, we need
Yeah.
solutions for those things like renewables and things like
That's
that.
cool though.
But I mean, like so I have moved to the Life Fast Polyurethanes division when we got the Canusa CPS because most of my work was always in the waterways area because of YG3, because of
Yep.
tapes and shrink sleeves. I did a lot of work there. So I moved over there. So we have other divisions, and each division has its own plant. It has its own R&D lab, product manager. So each one is working on different things applicable to what they manufacture.
It does kind of amaze me every time I go to AMP, Cindy, that I don't ever really find something like crazy new. There's never like, nobody ever is like, oh, here's this liquid nothing. Like there's,
Okay, well, Well, let me ask you this. Are any of you guys going to AMP Eastern this year? I know that you probably would if it was up in the Northeast, but it's in Tampa.
No. It's in Tampa. I'd like to go, but they're not.
I'll probably go because it's in Tampa.
That's the reason I would go as well.
I may not
Okay,
even
so-
go. I just might go to Tampa.
So
At the
listen,
time when the amp is there. So it's for
I might have
You
to
need
help
to go.
Joe get to Tampa.
I'm actually
A GoFundMe.
on that. So you're going to see new stuff. This I can tell you for sure. I'm the codings chair for that committee. And we had a record number of 49 abstracts submitted for Eastern, which is amazing for
That is a
Eastern.
lot.
And we have operators talking at it. I do have, and I don't want to say too much, I do have like some new technology in there talking, got some hybrid coding systems in there.
Ooh.
It's going to be amazing. So I want to give a shout out to it.
When is it?
It's October in Tampa, the last week, October 28th.
good time to go to Tampa.
Do you think we could come there and interview people for AMP?
Of course.
You're on the committee.
Yep, I'm the coding chair, and Stephanie Decker is the committee chair, so we'll get her involved in definitely.
You should get Stephanie to come on.
You have to get Stephanie on there. That's my girl.
Okay, how about you get her? Come on.
How about, can you give us a referral? Why don't we wait till this comes out first and see how?
Yeah. See how
Oh,
this
she's
goes.
gonna watch it, and she's gonna get a shout out. She'll be on there, and she'll be, yep.
Give her the.
I just think
It's
it's cool. I think it's cool with what you guys do. I mean, Ted and I clearly haven't had that exposure to the corrosion world. Nearly.
I don't know if I want that exposure. I'm honestly a little intimidated right now.
Well, you wouldn't be able to wear your pink shirt on job site because you get laughed out of the place. But
I have a pink hard hat, Joe.
you're
so-
also a woman.
What I
You
am.
have purple hair.
You can't say that in 2022.
You can say woman.
You can't say woman on screen. Take it back.
You said
You
SHIT.
said-
I
you
feel like
said
I
the
can
S
say
word
woman.
earlier.
Now we're getting into it. Now
That's the
calling
first
each
time.
other.
The
I
S
think you-
word.
and I
We're
think
letting that. We're leaving it go too. We're leaving it.
And I think you snuck in a sucks. So like, I mean, I think, yeah.
That doesn't sound like me.
It's
That don't even sound like me, guys. I don't know what.
100% watch the show. No, but in all seriousness, I think it's cool what you guys do. It's definitely something that I'd like to learn more about in my career in this industry. I just didn't really get involved in the corrosion stuff much. It's not
That's
something
because
that
we have a
really
chat.
do. No, I know that,
Corrosion
but
goes
I-
to chat.
but I think that the quest for knowledge is cool. And I've heard bits and pieces of the stuff that you talk about, but I don't think that anybody ever really fully understands the importance of what you guys do. And how important it is for pipeline safety and for people, right? Like for people's lives. Like there's a reason that you guys exist and what your business does. And I just want to say thank you guys for all that you do. It's amazing. I hope you don't take over the world because that would be weird if we had one corrosion company. It would kind of make AMP and a little uncomfortable too, I would assume. But
What are we gonna do today?
It's already getting there, believe me.
Same thing
yeah, I
we do
mean, you
every
could
day.
just like rubbing your hands at the desk, like, oh, we got this all under control. But
Like I thought I saw Chad the other day. And then
yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
Chad, you need like
Yeah.
that Dr. Evil. That's all I
Yeah.
saw.
yeah.
Was Chad.
Don't make the potty face, Chad. Don't
$1
do that.
million. I don't know. You guys have anything else for Cindy? I said it again.
I don't think so.
No, I think this
Finally
is
got it.
awesome, and I really, really appreciate the lesson that I'm gonna have to like
Rewatch
learn and watch and
in Google.
Because I just touched, I have so many.
Well, we can do a part two. You want a part two it? What
That's
else
up
got?
to you guys. You can
We can just keep this going. It could be a feature film.
feature film.
I mean,
We're gonna have to
32
put- we're
32
gonna have
years
to
in this
R-rate it.
industry.
What?
32 years in the industry. I got a lot to say. Just ask away.
32 years, really? Wow. Chad, what do you got?
20, 22, 21.
Doesn't it go by like that, Chad?
Don't
Yeah,
ask
I've got 11. I know. I feel like I just started. Ted's got 15, 20 minutes.
four. With that crooked
Years
pinky.
or minutes? Hours?
Cindy, we'll let you go. Thanks for coming on. I know you probably got a fishing tournament or a golf tournament or
Some
something
type of
else.
social outing.
Happy
Something
hour.
really important to do. I
Yeah,
think I've
happy hour to
got
get to.
myself. I think I got myself in the wrong business, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Corrosion,
Those corrosion folks, they don't really seem to do much.
especially the
anything else.
manufacturing side.
Thank you
No,
so
no,
much, Cindy. We really
Thank
do
you, guys.
appreciate you coming on the
Thank
show.
you for having me.
Always.
See you soon.
Bye, guys.
Cindy, that was honestly one of the most informational interviews I've sat through as I was.
I don't think that was informational for you. You need to it was, but it wasn't. Like all those
But I just
words, you
didn't
don't know what
understand the
they
information.
mean.
Why are you
Get
at my house? Get out of my house.
Sorry. Eileen asked me to come over and
Can-
help against the fence.
I'm not doing it. We know that. We know that.
I mean, I listened to her talk for a while, and I'm about 4% sure of what she was saying.
And here's the thing,
and that's not a knock on her.
No,
that's a knock on me and you.
Yeah,
Okay?
and the fact that we have to rely on chat.
But here's the thing, like
house.
if we broke it down, if we broke that conversation down, and instead of calling it by their brand name of Raychem, or you guys would understand what we're talking about. Like, that's the truth. Yeah, like Polykin is just tape. It's corrosion.
I know what that is. I just honestly can't believe like how much they own.
Acquired.
Well, now, yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, that's just insane. It's kind of funny too when you talk to people in what'd you say, 32 years? Like 32 years in the industry, and like she started as a secretary. Like that's insane. And now she's
at 18.
At 18 years old, still with the same company, 32 years later. That's insane.
She did go back.
Huh?
She left.
Oh, wow. She left, and she got a taste of Don. She got a taste
sabbatical.
Don and left.
Yeah, Don. If you're watching this, Don, you're supposed to come on the show too. I've been pounding.
Yeah, Don. How many times you can say Don?
Don.
I just can't imagine going into that field at 18 years old. And like,
yeah, but she went in as an office person, and that's
she grew into
better. Yeah,
you know, it's like anybody else. I mean, like even I was talking to Dan this morning in Paycheck, and it's like, you know, a lot of the people that he calls peers and that he's friends with were guys that were in the ditch. They're now VPs and presidents of organizations. They never intended on being there for 40 years and doing that, but that's just kind of how life works out. And I think it's kind of cool because I don't think life works out that much like that any longer. Everybody jumps jobs and has new careers. I mean, I've only personally had 2 real jobs in my life. Like,
well, I've had 3, but
20 years old. Since I was 20 years old, I've had the same 2 jobs. Like, it's crazy. If Eileen comes through that door, I will lose my mind.
Oh my God.
I so wish I had a video recording of that.
Am I behind you in that picture?
No.
How did you?
Your chair's there.
Walked away one day and you were like, screenshot.
You screenshotted it when you were like, have you done that to me? I haven't seen the Joe background yet.
I had one. I don't know.
You have my fish tank. You use that all the time. Anyways, Cindy, thank you. We appreciate it. You're always a pleasure. I'm so hysterical to talk to. Awesome what you do. We look forward to seeing you pretty soon. Hopefully in Tampa.
Yeah, maybe in Tampa.
Tampa Bay.
Now it's time to go to our article segment of the week. Okay.
Is that what we're doing now? We still
need a new background for that. I need to make a background for that.
You've been saying that for like 6 weeks.
So this
it's been like 6 months.
So this came from
Pipeline
and Gas Journal. And I thought this was interesting. I'm going to give a shout out to Tammy Bomia from Clock Spring NRI. She's the one who sent this to me. So without reading the whole thing, it's a grant program that's made possible by the bipartisan. Ted, if you don't stop doing that, it's hard to read. Buddy.
Doing what?
Moving the screen.
I haven't moved it in like 5 minutes.
We can literally go back and rewind and see the
Good move.
Chad, really? I mean, come on. You can literally go back and see the screen go.
I was going to stick up for Teddy, but he's wrong.
Made possible by the bipartisan infrastructure law signed by President Biden last November. The program offers $200 million in grants annually over the next 5 years to improve the safety of high-risk, leak-prone natural gas distribution infrastructure and create good-paying jobs with an emphasis on benefiting underserved communities in both rural and urban areas. The thing that I found interesting about this is that I think it says in here somewhere, but I think it's like gas utilities, or you can actually just apply to get this grant money to fix your infrastructure. So I'm going to quit this and go start my own company.
Joe's going to apply for a grant.
Yeah, and I'm going to get a grant. No, but it's pretty cool. Where does it say that, guys? You guys can jump in here.
See, I read this and I got angry as I was reading it, and I don't
want. Yeah, you were already mad.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that. Let's stay on the high side. All right, let's not go to the low side of the boat, Teddy. Stay on the high side.
Any side of the boat I sit on is the low side of the boat. On the big one.
Here it is. In its considerations of grant applications, PHMSA will consider important safety factors, including projects that involve repair, rehabilitation, replacement of legacy cast iron, bare steel, and legacy plastic gas distribution pipelines. I just thought it was cool. I think it's cool that there's going to be money that's given to the gas industry to be able to fix. I mean, we've had some pipeline incidences recently. I know we can probably all name a couple, especially up in our neck of the woods that have happened in the last 3-5 years. And I think that it's a good thing. As much as there's a lot of not great things, I think this is something that's actually super important and awesome. And I think that there's probably some companies that we work with that
100%.
probably benefit by this.
Yeah, 100%. So I'll stop the share on it now.
You guys don't have anything to add? I don't.
Does that mean
Joe's news corner? No.
Every time one of us goes to talk, you just.
Oh, I didn't go to talk at all that time.
Neither did you.
I didn't either. It just sounded like
I didn't have anything. So I guess my question is, as weird and stupid as this may sound, how far does that go down to companies? Like, can that affect somebody like Clockspringer NRI? Like, can they apply for that grant and Trident Seal? Like, I'm just thinking out loud. Like, maybe
like the gas utility could, saying that they're going to spend X amount of dollars.
Not for profit organization, so it had to be like a utility. Not like one, so not say a NICEAG RG&E that's owned by an Avant Grid. It has to be like a Tallahassee Gas or a Philadelphia Gas, yeah.
But it couldn't a contractor too that was going to?
Yeah, but they're all for profit.
No, yeah, but it's only nonprofit?
Yeah, it's only nonprofit. That's what it said.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
That's weird.
Good article. It was a good article, Joe.
What's nonprofit? Like, what are gas utilities nonprofit?
Yes, they're it said municipal
owned or nonprofit.
So a private gas utility couldn't.
No,
at least that's how it sounds.
That doesn't make much sense. I mean, I get it, but I know that $200 million sounds like a lot too, but
it's not.
It's really not.
It's not at all.
I mean, I'd be fine with it for a really, 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 really.
I can handle it, yeah.
Like, and my kids and my kids' would probably be.
I don't know the way the things are going.
Oh yeah, you might go get a tank of gas.
For $100 million.
Listen, I couldn't fill up over the weekend.
Filled my truck up last week, cost me $100 million.
We traveled to Maryland last weekend, guys, and we took Eileen's car, and I was like, oh, I'll be able to fill this up in one pump without it going over. Nope. She has a Chevy Traverse.
You know, how come that only happens in like New York?
I don't know.
That doesn't happen in other states. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, for us that live in New York State, when you get to a pump and you go to pump your gas, if the gas is over $75, the pump shuts off and then you have to do another transaction.
Now it
does or doesn't.
Listen, it's bumped up to 100. All right. But I'm still.
It's 100 now?
It's 100 now, but I'm still pumping like 115. So I still got to do it twice.
It is a stupid question, and then we'll be done with this.
I wouldn't do it twice. I would do it once.
You think the diesel ones are set up differently? Because like I watched, they have to be.
They must be.
I mean, I watched Barter.
Well, they put thousands of dollars.
He was filling up his motorhome on a trip he was on, and he posted it on the internet, and it was like $987.
Yeah, there must be some different things going on for diesel, I assume, but
crazy.
I saw a trucker who was like about to shut down his business because it took one trip there and back cost him $4,000 in fuel. Like it was like insane.
Now you know why everything is more expensive in the grocery stores and everywhere else is because of trucking costs. And honestly, I drove around all over New Jersey and Pennsylvania last week, and there's no lack of truckers on the road. I mean, there are absolutely trucks everywhere. So I don't know. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But right, I don't mean to devolve that conversation into a governmental affairs. What are we going to do?
I think it's time to call to click like, subscribe, and share, follow.
Yes.
We love you guys. We thank
Teddy's going to be at NGA. You want to pump that real quick?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So for the next week, I will be at Bryant University in Smithfield, Rhode Island, attending the Northeast Gas Association school and show that's taking place there. A couple of us upskill guys will be there. Myself, Adam Clary, Gene Cody, Dan Pajak, and one of the new members of our team that we've just recently had on the show, Jason Rogers.
And Christian Kane.
I'm going to be at your
Christian
house.
Kane will make an appearance. Chad's at my house taking care of business because
lasagna is really good.
Lasagna.
And I just want to point out SGA is next week, June 12th through the 15th. I will be there. Chad may or may not be there. We're not sure yet. Just going to make it around. But if you want me to sign autographs or take any pictures, let me know. I'll be available for that. We're doing a couple things with the new technology committee with the methane leak and repair and capture. ZVAC's going to be there, and ABB Mobile Guard, and and Clock Spring MRI, and who else am I forgetting? Oh, Picaro. So they're going to be doing a talk on some of their technologies and some of the new methane capture and leak detection equipment, and also repair and mitigation. So remediation. So if you're around, stop by. It's
Okay.
be a cool little thing.
Sounds great, folks. We will talk to you soon. We love you guys.